now. Oh, and as I say that, he was 3 balls away, it seemed, from closing to 4-3, and he's missed a sitter of a 7, and that's probably going to be his last shot. So I'll let you know how that one finishes up. Here, though, Carl has stayed with me for Mieszko Fortunski against Denis Grabe. We've seen a lot of hills today, Carl. That's 3 in a row, and a lot of tension there today because it really is win or bust. There's only one thing you can do today, and that's get through to the final group. Anything else, and you're out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's right, buddy, and there's only kind of one player who's having a bit of a nightmare, and that's the man on table 2, Casper. He's none from 2, and as long as Kazakis takes care of them 2 balls, he will have lost his first 3. Denis Grabe has just been involved in a classic on table 1. Missed a 90% combo to go 4-1 up and ended up losing that match. So he's 1 from 2. So things unfolding just as we called it would do here on day 7, group 7.
Rack number 1, Mr. Grabe, 2 breaks.
No, it's all over on the other table. Alex Kazakis has finished it all off. He's beaten Kasper Matikainen by 5 racks to 2. Something happened in that last rack. I've no idea what it was, but they both seem to think it's hilarious because they've been laughing about it ever since. I think the laughter stopped briefly for Matikainen when he missed the 7. But Kazakis wins that one then, so that's 2 wins in a row for him after losing his opener to Mark Bijsterbosch.
Tremendous opening break shot from Grabo there. Parks the cue ball in the centre of the table, and he has been rewarded, well, with a pretty nice layout. Needs to take care on this 1 ball, blind pocket shot. You can often miss these either side of the rail because you can't see the pocket in your eye line. Key is to stay still and deliver the cue. So he's passed that one. He'll really want to get the win in this match just because he'll feel like he's let one slip in the match before against Billy Thorpe. Billy Thorpe has played 3-1-1.
Denis Grabe, as we were saying in one of his earlier matches, is 31 now. And he's the only player to have been part of the team every time Estonia have played. They're not regulars in the World Cup of Pool. They made their debut in 2011. He's been involved every time, and they have a remarkable run of drawing very big teams among the leading seeds in the first round. And there are 32 nations in there, so you would think sometimes you get a kinder draw. And they've generally either run them close or actually won. Pulled off one of the biggest wins, biggest upsets, shall we say, in World Cup history on their debut in Quezon City in the Philippines 10 years ago. They played England, Darren Appleton and Chris Melling, the number 3 seeds, in the first round and beat them. And last time out in 2019 at the Morningside in Leicester, they beat Germany in the first round, Joshua Filler and Ralph Suke, and they were 1 rack away from getting to the quarter-finals for the first time before losing to the Canada pair of Alex Pagulayan and John Mora.
Yeah, I'm desperate for that match to be uploaded on the Matchroom YouTube channel. I wish they'd get a move on because that is TV gold. I was in the comms box with, I think, Phil Yates, and, well, the end of the match was just, it was carnage, and they ended up losing, and Grabo, and I have forgot his partner's name. I do apologise if you're watching, I'm a bad man. And it was hilarious, and then throughout the rest of the event they were sat in the crowd and they were sat at opposite ends of the arena from each other, and as the days got on they got closer, and by the end of the week they were best of buddies again. It was brilliant. Denis has landed a little bit straight on this, so he's now got to force the cue ball round off 2 rails. And you see, probably use the 3rd rail. Here she comes. And it's landed. He's fine.
1-0 to Denis Grabe. I'm going to give you one last chance, Carl, to see if you can remember the name of the other player in the Estonia team.
I can see his face, and I can see them both sat at opposite ends of the arena and slowly getting closer as the days went on, but I have completely forgot his name.
Mark Maggi.
That's it, I have forgot that, Mark Maggi. Do apologise, Mark, I'm sure you're tuning in.
You love your nicknames. I mean, if he ends up playing in this, I mean, it's made, isn't it? Magic Maggi.
Yeah, it's got to be that one. I mean, it was the Magic Man Melon at one point, but we've changed that to the Shotmaker. I wonder if the Shotmaker's on the practice table. He's not been seen anywhere near it so far.
Well, I asked him last night where his cue was. He said he didn't know because he's not picked it up. Now, I think that was for good reasons, actually, because he said, having got through on Monday, he wanted to let the other players who were playing in the intervening days to have a go on the practice table. He did say he'd put in a couple of hours today, but he's got to find his cue first. He reckons it's buried under some crisp packets or something in his room. Yeah,
I mean, there's probably a bit of truth in that. A few sweetie packets and McDonald's wrappers and things like that.
He likes his good Yorkshire living, even when he's down in the south of England. Here we go then, rack 2.
Fortunski's going well today. He's played 2-1-2. Been very solid throughout the week, hasn't he? Just not quite done it. Of course, he had that classic match against Kelly Fisher. Since then, it's been a bit hit and miss. And, well, we've got a dry break. Very rare this week, a dry break. So the dry break gets Denis back to the table, 3 to the 4. Could prove to be a little bit tricky, and then he's going to have to worry about the 6 to the 7.
Well, this is what you want, isn't it? Break and run first rack, dry break from your opponent in the second.
Yeah, we've not seen many dry breaks this week. Key shot coming up now for Denis.
And that's the thing, because they've been so infrequent. When you do get the benefit of one, you've got to make the most of it.
Following on from this match, Fortunski will stay on this table. Yasmin Ocean comes back onto table 1. And I've heard a little rumour, Albin Ocean is coming in the com box for that match, so stay tuned on that one.
I think what we all really wanted, except perhaps Albin and Jasmine themselves, was for the two of them to play each other today. But I guess one commentating on the other is the next best thing.
Yeah, and of course Yasmin can still qualify, so we might still see the dream matchup tomorrow. Denis needs an angle on the 6 after this shot. If he doesn't get an angle, he's going to find it very difficult to get over for the 7, so this needs to come out. This looks perfect. Good shot, Grabo.
They're underway again on the other table. Billy Thorpe against Kasper Matikainen. They've both just come off very different experiences. Matikainen, his 3rd straight defeat, a fairly comprehensive one against Alex Kazakis. He was 4-0 down, and as we were saying, he closed to 4-2 and really should have been 4-3. Missed an absolute sitter. But Thorpe goes in on the back of that dramatic win we saw against Denis Grabe on this table.
Attention, please.
And yeah, if you've only got one extension per rack and you're down to the 9, if you've any inclination at all to take it, you might as well. And that's what he's done here to compose himself for a big shot. He'll be 2-0 up and breaking if this goes in. And that is exactly the situation. Denis is from the Estonian capital, Tallinn, and we've been talking a bit, Carl, about experiences of travelling around the world to sporting events, you playing, me commentating and reporting, and one of the first countries I went to do that was Estonia. I went to Tallinn 20 years ago for a Football World Cup qualifier, and a mate of mine, I think it was his first overseas trip actually, and he was from a small newspaper, so it was a big deal for him to be sent. And it was a football match. The day before it, the big thing is the manager's press conference. I think it was on about 2 o'clock. He woke up in Tallinn, saw that it said 3 o'clock. He looked outside, the sun was shining, it was daylight. He thought, I can't believe I've missed the press conference on my first ever away trip. So he starts ringing some of the other journalists, asking them what was said at it. And they're like, it's 3 a.m. This is what happens here. It's June. There's only a couple of hours of darkness. So yeah, it's one of those places, very, very northerly, Tallinn. So it's pretty much constant darkness in the winter. But then they make up for a bit in the summer because it's almost 24 hours of daylight.
Yeah, that's one place I've never been over that side of the world, so maybe one day. And Estonia's Denis Grabe will be breaking in the third.
Rack number 3, current score is 2-0, Mr. Grabe.
We've been talking about Billy Thorpe throwing in a few unexpected misses. He's just had one on the 6th there when he was looking good to take the opening rack against Kasper Matikainen. And he's had a golden break.
Gentlemen, we have a 2.5.
Wow, another one.
There you go. What a way to go to the ad break. 3-0 for Denis Grabe. Back in a moment.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution.
Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just hit the ball.
There can't be many people in the entire history of 9-ball pool who've ever had an opening 3 racks in a match quite as good as Denis Grabe. Break and run in the first rack, runs out from his opponent's dry break in the second, then has a golden break in the third, and in no time at all the man from Estonia leads Mieszko Fortunski by 3 racks to 0. Fortunski has had 1 shot.
Yes, it can actually happen that way, but we've not seen it as much as people think. There's been a lot of nip and tuck, but that is what can happen. That's why when you get a chance to win a match, it's a bit of a weird feeling you get, because you get a little bit excited. Oh, it's my chance to win the match. Sometimes you don't get that chance.
Rack number 4, the current score 3-0.
Fortunski really needs to do something about it here. Not done a great deal wrong so far. Nevertheless, he's 3-0 down. Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's a generous split, isn't it? He's made balls on the break. He's got a lovely shot on the 1 ball, and he's actually got a nice angle to get back over for the 3. So this is a good chance, and this is all he can do. All you can do is worry about when you're at the table. When you're sat in your chair, well, you may as well not even watch.
It's 29 on Thursday for Fortunski. He's won some tournaments of decent quality. The Italian Open, a Euro Tour event. Straight pool division at the Derby City Classic. And in recent times he's started to get some good results in the very biggest events. He pushed Shane Van Boening very hard at the US Open last time out. Then went to the 1-loss side, had some really good wins there. Corey Jewell, Ralph Souquet. Eventually lost 11-10 to Wu Cha Ching for a place in the last 16 single table stage. It was Wu who went through to that instead and ended up getting through to the final, and that bizarre finish which saw him lose to Joshua Filler. And Fortunski also reached the equivalent stage of the World Championship that year. In between, he'd been runner-up to Niels Feijen in the Las Vegas Open, and also that year he won the 10-ball at the European Championships, beating Kasper Matikainen in the final. So he stepped it up a bit in the last few years. And he's doing the same here. 3 balls off the break, saw it out from there. Fortunski closes to 3-1 down. Let's see what's going on next door. Just mentioned Kasper Matikainen there, who lost in that European 10-ball final in Treviso to Mieszko Fortunski. He's lost all his matches so far today, and he's lost the first rack here. He's got a good chance to take the second. This is the 7-ball that he missed at a key stage against Kazakis. An absolute sitter when it looked like he was going to get back to 4-3 from 4-0 down. You sort of feel he's in that zone now where everything feels like hard work and nothing's coming easily to him. Made a bad start to yesterday, but turned it around pretty well to get through to today's group. Running out of time in today's play.
So this 9-ball will get his first rack on the board over on table 2.
And he's level at 1-1 with Billy Thorpe.
3-1. Mr. Grabe. Mr. Grabe.
Back over to table 1. Denis Grabe's last break was a golden. Can he do it again? There you see the 9-ball usually stays around where the rack is, and it's fair to say in this match the break has been kind to Denis. Another wonderful chance here. He's got a shot on the 2.
We were talking the other day, I don't think it was with you, Carl, maybe it was, but with someone anyway. We were trying to figure out what would be the odds against that happening, having 2 golden breaks in a row. So, in order to work that out, what do you reckon? I mean, there's no definitive answer to this. How many breaks do you reckon you have to have on average to have a golden break? Is it once every 100 breaks, once every 200? What do you reckon?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I know, like, the hustlers in America, if you was to go over there and, you know, you was being hustled in a pool room, for instance, I know some of the way that they rack the balls, they can put a gap in a certain place and the 9-ball keeps flying in the corner pocket.
Okay, but assuming you're not doing that.
Yeah, as soon as you're not cheating.
Yeah.
Oh, God, good question. How many have we had so far? Do we know the answer? We could work it out that way.
Yeah, good point. We've had maybe 6 or 7. I'd say 7.
Okay, so we've had 7.
We're going to be pretty close to 200 matches at this stage. So we'll say an average of 8 racks maybe, but it's a bit under that. So I'd say we're having pretty much one every 200 racks.
Right, okay.
So basically then, to work out what you would need, what odds you would have for back-to-back, it's basically 200 multiplied by 200. So it's 40,000 to 1.
Right. Can I put a pound on it?
Have you even got a pound with you?
I actually haven't, to be fair. It's an IOU.
Yeah. Well, I definitely haven't got 40,000 with me.
So now Michael McMullen has worked out the odds for that. That's an interesting theory you've come up with.
It's not theory, it's hard science.
We've not even been close, so have we? After the break, when somebody's made the 9, I don't think the following racket's come close, has it?
Well, Albin Ocean probably feels he's played about 40,000 racks this week. He's probably wondering why it hasn't happened.
Cue ball needs to slow up. That looks nice from Denis. Let's not forget, in his last match he was 3-1 up. Should have gone 4-1 up. He had a wonderful opportunity, so needs to bear down on these short races. One bad miss and it can just swing over, and he's perfect on the 9 there, is Denis.
Yeah, even in his win earlier against Jasmine Ocean, it wasn't a good performance. This is by far the best he's played in his 3 matches so far, and he's on the brink of winning it now on the hill at 4-1. And speaking of Jasmine Ocean, here she is on the practice table, where she spends a lot of time, really hard worker, and not just in terms of practice, she's very into the fitness side of it as well, and she was talking about that to me yesterday in the commentary box, about how there's no doubt in her mind that physical fitness can be a big attribute in this game, because healthy body, healthy mind and all that. And she'll be up next against Mieszko Fortunski. She might not have to wait too much longer now.
Head referee John Lehman from New York City, doing a wonderful job, sporting a nice mullet there.
Well, he wants to be like Billy and Skylar, doesn't he? I actually travelled here from the airport in the car with John and David O'Cady this day last week, coming up from Heathrow, and he started telling this story about how he had all sorts of trouble getting his place on the plane, actually, when he was flying over from Newark. And they hadn't accepted his documentation, and he had to do a COVID test and all the rest. Honestly, I don't think there's been a single time all week since then that I've walked into a room that John's been there and he hasn't been telling that story.
Mieszko Fortunski.
Hopefully he'll find it a bit smoother on the way back to the States. 4-1 down. Fortunski breaks.
Yeah, that's a nice break. Controls the cue ball. It's just been one of them matches where the balls have just come out nice and players have had a nice open shot on the opening ball. Of course, we've had a golden break, so the thing is, Denis is on the hill, and Fortunski, even if he does run these balls, he's got to sweat Denis's break. And Denis will have 2 more breaks as well if it goes hill-hill, so he's going to need a little bit of luck if he wants to get back in this match and get the W next to his name.
We've spoken a lot about the value and importance of momentum in this format. Well, Billy Thorpe might just be getting some of it, because we saw him win a little earlier on this table against Denis Grabe. And he's now leading 2-1 in his next match against Kasper Matikainen. You would sort of look at that and think the way Matikainen is playing, Thorpe will feel that's not quite a must win, but really should win.
Mieszko Fortunski's going along nicely today. We've seen him play a lot of pool this week. Nice player, lefty. Hits the ball smooth, never seems to hit the ball hard, and that's because he's always got a nice angle on his next ball. Really like his game. I think in the next 2 to 3 years I expect him to win something pretty decent. And he's still got a chance in this tournament. He's still in it.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, he loses this. It's 2 wins out of 3. And at the halfway stage of the round robin section, you'd always settle for that, because basically if you do that twice, it's 4 wins out of 6, and off you go to the semi-finals.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the players, you know, the top 4 who qualify for the semi-finals, they will know it's no return.
Couldn't have done much more there. Fortunski stays in there, but Denis Grabe will have the break, leading 4-2 in a moment.
Going to the bottom cushion, maybe off the 8. Oh, trick shot by Woodward. What a shot by Evolution.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution.
Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just hit the ball.
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith Ranger of Ball and Q cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
It's been a fine performance from Denis Grabe here against Mieszko Fortunski. The man from Poland really hasn't done a great deal wrong at all, and he did nothing wrong in the last rack, winning it to close to 4-2. But Denis Grabe, worst case scenario, has got 2 more breaking racks to finish this off, and one of those is coming up now in the 7th.
Over on table 2,
Rack
Casper
number 7.
Matikainen needs a win over there. He's just fluked
4-2.
the 4 ball, but he's still hooked, so he needs another good kick shot.
Grabe to break on the hill.
So the story of this match has been the break shot. There's been very kind for both players, and at first glance it doesn't look too pretty, but he does have a shot on this ball. It's a thin one all the way down the rail. I'm not sure if anyone's played the perfect set yet, Michael, where it's been constant break and runs.
Attention, please.
Dennis is having a good look at this one. He wants to try and finish this match off now. It's a tough pot, but it is definitely on. He's going to play this all the way down the rail. Cue ball is key as well. Not to lose the cue ball, so here we go. Nice shot, and the 8 ball kissed into the 8. He holds his hand up because that's not come out too bad for Grabe.
Yeah, it did happen. Miyuki Oi did it against Kelly Fisher. He had 4 breaks, ran out every time.
And of course tomorrow Japan's Naoki Oi will be back. He qualified for the final day. Always an exciting player to watch, and well, his interviews are pretty special as well. This is a big chance for Dennis now, after losing that Hill match, the one before, where he probably feels like he should have won it. This always eases the pain.
Billy Thorpe just needs the 8 and 9 to open a 3-1 lead over Casper Matikainen, so he's really getting motoring now in this group. Just as I say that, Thorpe has missed the 8 on the other table. Meanwhile, back here, Denis Grabe is closing in on victory, and this would put him very nicely placed, wouldn't it? 2 wins, and he'll only have lost 2 racks in each of those games, so that's good for the count back. And even the one he lost was only in a hill finish. He's only got 1 go at it. That'll certainly focus the mind. Other players have had several chances. Albin Ocean took 6 of them to get through. Mieszko Fortunski is on his 6th, but he's going to have his first defeat of it, because Denis Grabe has put in a fine performance here. And he's beaten Mieszko Fortunski by 5 racks to 2, all of which leaves just 1 more match on the main table in the afternoon session, as Jasmine Ocean faces Fortunski.